What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Mandalorian Season 2 trailer. Now this trailer absolutely came out of nowhere for me, and I do actually love it when that happens. This show is dropping on October the 30th on Disney+, and the trailer gives us a good insight into just what the story will be for the highly anticipated second season. It picks up after Moff Gideon was defeated by Mando, Cara and Karga, and he leaves the planet with the child, aka Baby Yoda. But we know that Gideon has survived with the Darksaber, and Cara and Karga are actually on the planet, still there. Now, we start off with Mando's ship as we hear a voiceover, which sounds like the Armourer asking to see the child and stating that it needs to be returned to its own kind. We've only seen two of Baby Yoda's kind before. That was Yoda and Yaddle, the latter being a Jedi Grand Master, and Yoda, well, you know who Yoda is. She clearly has no idea of where this Baby Yoda has come from, but it seems the Jedi will come to the forefront of this series as she mentions battles in the past between Mandalorians and Jedis. Mandalorians had a war against the Jedi in the past that devastated Mandalore, turning it into a wasteland city, meaning the Jedi won. The people of Mandalore had to live in domed cities, and later the pacifists of society took over as they turned their back on the warring type of really the whole Mandalorian lifestyle. Now, this is very, very important, as the Darksaber was shown in the hands of Gideon last season, and this was created by a Mandalorian called Tar Vizsla, who became the first and only Mandalorian to be inducted into the Jedi Order. The Darksaber was actually made during his time there in the Order, and they mention sorcerers and the wider galaxy do not actually really believe in the Force or know much about the Jedis for that matter, and considering only one Jedi went up against the Empire and Rey begged to know if what happened was actually true in Force Awakens, then the Jedis will remain a mystery here, which explains why the Mandalorian doesn't go, oh yeah, Luke Skywalker in that. Now, this Mandalorian Jedi animosity was a key part of the Clone Wars and even the Rebels TV shows, with Mandalorian splinter group the Death Watch joining up with Darth Maul, wanting to use his power to take over the pacifist government that ran the Mandalore system. But this then led to the Galactic Empire taking over Mandalore after the Siege of Mandalore. The Darksaber was in the possession of a character called Bo-Katan, and it was used to unite the Mandalorian clans, and it's presumed that she was actually killed in the Great Purge of Mandalore, leading Gideon to get his Darksaber. However, we now know that Bo-Katan, who actually was voiced by Katie Sackhoff, will be featuring here in The Mandalorian Season 2, so it will be interesting to see what actually happens. So it seems that Mando will need to find the remaining Jedi to bring the child to his own race. Now we see Mando and the child stalked by a woman in a hood doing her best Scottish Widow impression. Initially, I, like most of the internet, thought this was actually Ahsoka Tano. However, if you look closer, it is actually someone else. Tano, who is rumoured to be in The Mandalorian Season 2 and played by Rosario Dawson, was the student of Anakin Skywalker, but lost her way as the Jedi's kind of, we know what happened to them, don't we? And she had a whole arc where she helped Ezra Bridger and the Rebels, but she actually then went on after all of this to join Sabine Wren and work a way to try and find Ezra Bridger after the whole Battle of Endor and all of that happened. So we're in that time frame where both Sabine Wren and, as well as that, Ahsoka Tano are looking for Ezra Bridger. And this here is what I think she's playing Sabine Wren, and the actress playing her is Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is, of course, the former NXT champion, the absolute legendary women's wrestler at the moment in WWE, and, well, Sabine Wren was in Rebels. And like I said, at the end of Rebels, she went off with Ahsoka Tano to try and look for Ezra Bridger. And this all makes sense, as this is very thematically similar to what would fit in with The Mandalorian. And Sabine must have heard of the battle with Gideon and went off to try and find the Mandalorian, and maybe she thought that he also had the Darksaber. Now, Mando is indeed delivering the child to his enemy, as the Mandalorians are, as we know now, sworn enemies of the Jedis. But this softened as time went on in Rebels, but he will no doubt be chased by all parties such as the New Republic and the splinter groups left over from the Empire, as well as that, the surviving Jedis, as we see his ship escorted by X-Wings and chased by them, as we also see stormtroopers on alert, going after what I would assume is the Mandalorian. This looks like the same planet as the shot where we saw the TIE fighters as well flying back up. We also visit an ice planet, which I'm going to go on an absolute limb here and presume that this is Ilum. Ilum was most recently featured in the game Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and this was featured here where Jedis would go and get some kyber crystals to build their lightsabers. It would later go to become Starkiller Base, as we know in The Force Awakens. So what I think here is that Mando learns about Jedis and learns that, well, of course, the child is also force sensitive, so we'll go to somewhere where he thinks that it would actually help the child kind of get into tune with his inner self. But the child is taken to what looks like an underground fighting area with some Gamorreans fighting. They're the same race who are employed by security for Jabba the Hutt's palace. And a deal goes down and it seems to go south here as he gets attacked but wins the day, leaving no one alive. And I love the fact that we saw the child as well have the little dome thing go over his head and he goes into a little safe space. Now, other shots included Tusken Raiders, which hints that we will be going back to Tatooine this time as well, because there was actually a fight to kill Fennec Shand on the planet, as we saw last season. Now, let's not forget that there was someone who turned up and actually managed to find the body. Many of us at the time thought this was going to be the Mandalorian, the OG kind of Mandalorian, at least in the Star Wars universe, himself, Boba Fett. But, well, we never got a payoff for that. And Tamura Morrison is coming back to the show. We don't know who we will be playing, but it's not out of the realms of possibility that they will be paying off this scene with Boba Fett also being employed to go after the child as well. So we may even get in the finale a Mando versus Mando showdown, which I would actually really like. So let me know down in the comments what you think of this trailer. Do you think it looked good? I do. I like the fact he didn't give too many spoilers, because these days the spoilers are absolutely everywhere. But if you like that, please do consider dropping a like down below. Please do consider subscribing with notifications on, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.